coming on, so let's just go to the guest without the bumper music, so we don't have that fancy little intro that we normally have. Dr. Jacqueline Hornor Plumez is on the phone. She's a contributor to the Ladies' Home Journal and the New York Times. She's the recipient of the Distinguished Psychologist and Distinguished Service Award and the Bucknell University's Service to Humanity Award. She's got a book. It's called The Bitch in Your Head: How to Finally Squash Your Inner Critic. And let's just say good morning to Dr. Plumez. Good morning, Doctor. I apologize we didn't have any intro music for you, but we're still on the air. That's the important part. Good morning, Doctor.
Good morning. I don't miss the intro music at all.
Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from right outside of New York City.
Oh, okay. On Long Island or Jersey? Where are you?
Westchester, Larchmont, New York.
All right. You know, the book seems to be written for ladies, but I can relate to everything in it. I mean, I have a bitch in my head too.
Absolutely. The majority of women and many, many men have what I call the bitch in your head, which is this mean, critical voice saying things like, "Oh, you look fat," or "How could you be so stupid? You know, you really blew it. Nobody wants to hear what you have to say. Don't even try; it will never work." I mean, mean things like that.
The only one I think who doesn't have that is Donald Trump. It seems like he's the only one who's absolutely sure of everything that's going on with himself.
That's true, but I would bet that the majority of people who are listening today, even if their life looks perfect from the outside, they're having some kind of trouble, some kind of problem, whether it's dating or marriage or raising their kids or work or social life or sleeping through the night. And it's a really good bet that that problem is exacerbated, if not caused, by self-criticism, negative thinking, what I call the bitch in your head.
So does this become magnified because we have a media, meaning like movies and TV and books and magazines that portray who the perfect person is, and because we can Photoshop, in quotes, our lives. In other words, we can go to Facebook and make it seem like we've got the ideal life and never tell anybody about, you know, the mistakes we've made. You know, we can fine tune with the way it looks. Other people see other people and they think, oh my gosh, I don't stand a chance against these people.
You're right. You're absolutely right. It's the media. It's Facebook. Nobody ever posts the bad stuff of their life on Facebook. And what I call this, you know, industrial complex that is the media, the fashion, the pharmaceutical industry that's making people feel that they're just not okay the way they are. If they only bought this product or, you know, looked better or smelled better. That's
where I think the sexes might separate, right, at that point. Because I think men are self-critical, but not necessarily about those things. Does that make sense?
Yes, Larry, what I've found is that men are self-critical, but it's the extent to which they're self-critical that differs with women. Women can criticize themselves all across the board. I mean, about everything. Men tend to focus on his is bigger than mine issues, you know, whether it's body parts or income or success. But we can do it with everything.
Really? Like if you're applying for a job, let's say a woman applying for a job, and she knows who her competitors are, and she knows that maybe 80% of them are men. Mm-hmm. Does that play with her mind? Does she somehow start to lack belief in herself because I'll blame society for that, because society has made her feel like a man will probably get the job, whether he's better or not?
No, I don't think that's the usual. I mean, I'm sure some women feel that way, but what usually is the case is that if the job requires any leap of experience or knowledge, women are very reluctant to take that leap. Men will take that leap. And the reason is that women blame themselves for mistakes and failures. So if a woman takes a job and it doesn't work out because she didn't know enough or because, well, it just for any reason it didn't work out, she will blame herself. She'll say, oh, you know, I was stupid, I really blew it. A man will tend to blame the situation, he'll say, "Oh, nobody could do that job," or he'll blame someone else. The boss was terrible. Nobody
Okay,
could
right.
do that boss.
I think the public negativity from politicians has a lot to do with the self-esteem of women, because there are women in leadership roles. There are women that make good money. I personally don't think that there really is a problem in the pay scale for having women and men paid equally for the same job, but all of those politicians come out in their public political forum and they keep telling women how bad off they are, how horrible their situations are, and they're not really, because the women are good homemakers. They're good in the workforce. They're great entertainers, and we have this constant prodding of public figures telling us that we're stupid, and eventually we're going to believe it.
Well, that certainly is the case in some cases, Robin. But I think what I see is that things are equal with men and women until children come into the picture, and then women are left with the vast majority of the responsibility for raising the children and for taking care of the kids. You can't go to work if you don't have adequate child care, and we all know that there is not adequate child care in the United States, and it's much too expensive, and it just is a terrible burden that women have to assume much more of that burden than men.
Yeah, and you're right. The cost of it is almost prohibitive. You go to work just so you can. You might as well not go to work.
Right. And that's shared between men and women.
I think we've established pretty well. It's a short interview, so I want to make sure we talk about the book and be fair to the book, because the book has the subtitle, which is How to Finally Squash Your Inner Critic. So we've established that we have one. We have an inner critic. Maybe it's different for men and women, but now we get to learn how to get rid of that thing, right?
Right. The first step is to hear it. And when you hear it, to realize how negative it is. Because some people hear the bitch in their head, and they think, oh, this is helpful. It's saving me from being arrogant, or it's saving me from being disappointed.
Oh, I can see that, yeah.
Some people think it makes them work harder or smarter. But most people just are not aware of this barrage, this litany of self-criticism that wears down their self-esteem and their self-confidence, limits their potential. So the first thing you do is you listen. And if you're saying something to yourself that you would never say to your friend or your child because you know it would be too depressing or discouraging, you should never say it to yourself.
Do we have enough understanding about this so that we can maybe prevent our daughters and sons from growing up and having the same bitch in their heads?
That is a great question. And the interesting thing to me is that I'm finding not equal numbers of men, but many men are buying this book for their daughters or their wives or their grandchildren.
Yeah.
They don't want the women they love to be so self-critical. They want the women they love to be more self-confident. And I love that.
I'm glad you see that, and that's the way I feel too. I mean, I always feel like everybody has a gift, and everybody should be encouraged to use that gift, whatever it may be, man or woman, or young or old, anybody. It just seems to me that that's what makes you happy, is when you're doing the thing that you have a passion to do.
Yes. Well, you're obviously a very loving and encouraging man, and that's wonderful. And I do think that all of us have a mission in life. All of us have something that we want to accomplish for ourselves or our families or our communities or the world. And the main thing that holds us back is what I call the bitch in your head. The bitch in your head that tells you, oh, that's stupid, you'll never succeed, don't even try. I mean, I have examples in the book of people who ordinary people who achieved wonderful things because they got rid of the bitch in their head holding them back.
I can give you an example of the bitch in the head being right. We have a TV station in Orlando, and the previous owners of this TV station were wonderful. They had their lady anchors who had been on there for decades, literally decades, and the men anchors as well. Okay, but the difference with TV is they're going to let go of the women in most cases, and keep the men.
As they get older.
As they get older. Okay, so this particular situation, the station sold. And the ladies were panicking because they thought, "Oh my gosh, they're never going to want us." They actually went on the air. They said, "We're not so sure we're going to stay here."
Yeah.
And the men didn't seem to be concerned at all.
Right.
And fortunately, the new owners were just as open-minded as the previous owners. They saw the value that these ladies brought to the station, and thank goodness we still have them. I don't want to name the station because I don't want to. But the point is, the bitch in their head was right, because easily they could have had some hotshot young guy who said, "No, we got to have some cute chicks in there now." You know,
Yeah,
you could have had one of those.
Right. Well, it's a wonderful story. I love it that they stayed. But I think the thing that listeners need to learn is the difference between constructive criticism and destructive criticism. Man, the bitch in your head is always destructive. It's negative. It's ugly, and it makes you feel like you can't do anything, as opposed to constructive criticism, which identifies a problem. It doesn't hide from a problem, but it identifies the problem and it says, "Okay, what do I have to do to overcome?"
Oh, really? So can you translate it? Can you sit down? Does the book help you? Sit down with yourself, be honest with yourself, and say, what am I hearing myself say? And let me translate that into a more practical, constructive translation.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Whether it's, as I say, dating or marriage or raising kids or, socializing or sleeping through the night. I mean, so many people have trouble with the bitch in their head in the middle of the night telling them, "Oh, you're never going to get back to sleep. You're going to be exhausted," as opposed to the truth, which is the research shows that if you're just lying there relaxing and trying to meditate, it is almost as good as sleeping. It's the tossing and turning and thrashing and worrying that is exhausting.
And you always have those people in the world that think they're giving helpful advice to a particular person.
Yeah.
And, that kind of makes you feel stupid too.
Helpful advice that makes you feel bad is not helpful. You're absolutely right, Robin. It's terrible.
We'll take a little break and we'll be right back. This is an important topic, and the way I see it is, if you have a daughter or a son, but I can really see now that we're getting deeper into it that this might mostly apply to women, but it applies to all of us. And I love the subtitle. The title is "The Bitch in Your Head." That'll get your attention.
Yeah.
The subtitle:
wonderful.
"How to Finally Squash Your Inner Critic." That's the part that I love about this. It helps you, and Dr. Jacqueline Hornor Plumez is on the phone up in Rochester, right? Is that what you said?
Nope, right outside of New York City.
Outside of New York City. Why did I think Rochester? All right, Westchester, you said, right?
Westchester,
Westchester.
right.
I knew there was a Chester in there. All right, we'll be right back.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. For today, plenty of clouds, a few sunny breaks, the high 71 to 75. Partial clearing tonight with lows ranging from the upper 40s well inland to the upper 50s along the coast. Tomorrow, partly sunny, a nicer day overall, the high 73 to 77. On Wednesday, sunshine and some clouds, the high 74 to 78. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Hi, this is JP from Penn Flooring here in Ocala. I would like to invite you to come in and visit our spacious showroom where we have solutions for every style and budget. From wall-to-wall carpet to hardwood floors and tiles, we have an unsurpassed selection of flooring. At Penn Flooring, we've provided quality customer service with a family touch for over 25 years. Visit our website at pennflooring.com or come by our showroom, 1201 Southwest 17th Street, just over the bridge. Penn Flooring, quality customer service with a family touch.
Looking to put your money to work? Florida Credit Union has 3 CD specials: 12 months for 1.05% APY, 24 months for 1.50% APY, 36 months for 1.75% APY, each with a $10,000 minimum. Federally insured by the NCUA. APY equals annual percentage yield. These rates effective through December 31st, subject to change at any time. Visit one of Florida Credit Union's convenient locations today or visit their website at flcu.org.
Where am I going to hide the presents so my family can't see what I got them for Christmas? Hey, I know. Neighborhood Storage has units for only $20 till the end of the year. Yep, Elf Storage. With 20 locations, Neighborhood Storage is easy to find and use and only $20. Elf Storage. I mean neighborhood storage. So when you rent the unit before the end of the year and mention WOCA, get a free t-shirt. Neighborhood storage. I like it. New customers and additional units only. Restrictions apply. See store for details.
One of the most common questions those nearing retirement are asking, will I outlive my money? Retirement questions like these and many more will be answered every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. on Planning for a Better and Safer Retirement with hosts Francois and Julian Cozenet. Francois and Julian will help you put your retirement puzzle together. Catch Planning for a Better and Safer Retirement Saturdays at 9 a.m. on Ocala's News Talk, The Source 96.3 FM and 1370 AM.
10 minutes before 10 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. And an important topic. Dr. Jacqueline Hornor Plumez is on the phone. She spells her last name Plumez. By the way, if you're looking up the book on Amazon, there probably is a website. I'll find that out right now. The Bitch in Your Head is the title of the book and the topic. Doctor, thank you for waiting through the break with us. The other night, Saturday, Robin and I, we do music, and we played music on the porch of an old historic home here in Ocala, and the homes were open for the public to kind of walk through and see all the beautiful decorations that they've got for the Christmas season, okay? Mm-hmm. And there were a couple of times where you would see a lady all by herself walking in, and Robin pointed it out to me. She said, oh, look at that lady's all by herself. That's too bad. Did we see any men by themselves at all?
No, not at all. But there were a few women by themselves, but they don't want to sit home and just not experience life.
Is it more difficult, do you think, for a woman to do that? Is it more daring than, or not daring, but is it scarier, maybe that's the word?
Yes, it's interesting. There's a chapter in The Bitch in Your Head called The Party Bitch, and it talks about how one of the biggest phobias in the United States currently is for a person to go to a party or an event alone when they don't know anybody. It used to be that the biggest fear was dying or public speaking, but now people would literally rather die than go to a party alone.
Really?
Yes. So you're absolutely right that those women were confronting a big fear in our society. But again, I give lots of tips in the Bitch in Your Head how to overcome these things. And one, when you go someplace alone, you look for somebody else who's alone. And instead of thinking, oh, I'm a wallflower, I'm looking stupid being alone,
right.
You go up and you talk to somebody else who's alone, and they usually will be very happy to welcome you, that you kind of saved them from social oblivion. So
you do have to be a conversationalist, though. You have to take that first step and just have the confidence to say, okay, I'm the belle of the ball, and you need to be the one that opens the conversation. Otherwise, no one will talk to you.
Well, that's true. Just going over and saying hi, introducing yourself and starting just a minor conversation. Why did you come here tonight, or how are you interested in this? Just you're right to have a few simple questions that you can start a conversation with.
Is it possible that the bitch in your head sounds like me? Let me explain this. Because I will always say to women, and I really mean this with the best intent, don't go alone. And I don't mean to a party. I mean, okay, we have a lot of nice walking trails around here.
Yeah. And
I will say, don't walk that trail alone. Or they'll take the bus. Can you get somebody to go with you? Take somebody with you. And my thinking is, as a guy, I know there's a lot of creepy guys out there, and especially if you're on a trail in the middle of the woods, holy mackerel, I'd be worried about you.
Yeah, but women would miss a lot.
So if I say that, and then they hear it in their head, the bitch in their voice might literally be my voice.
Well, that's true, and you're absolutely right. And I think it's important for you to be helpful and understand what is the real danger and what is the societal, concern. It's the societal concern about not going to a party alone or not going to an event alone, which really they should be encouraged to do and go with some psychological tools to help them be comfortable.
And that's what the book helps you with? Those are okay.
Yes. As opposed to walking in the woods alone. I think you're absolutely right that is something, women probably should not do. alone unless they know karate.
You bring up a point in your book. You say why terrific homemakers and cooks are afraid to entertain. And when I was growing up, I had no problem with that. And my folks didn't, and my neighbors, and they were all terrific homemakers and cooks, and they weren't afraid to entertain.
Well, that was maybe before Martha Stewart.
Oh.
Oh.
I think Martha Stewart has made us all, afraid that people are going to criticize us if we're not perfect.
Oh,
and haven't spent.
That's an interesting observation.
But you were lucky to have parents who helped you understand that entertaining is just about the fun of it. It isn't about the perfection of it.
Oh, sure.
So in your practice, have you worked with ladies specifically who you identified as having this problem? And if so, can you share a story from...
Oh, yes. A woman who, a very successful woman with a beautiful apartment in Manhattan and a formal dining room in Manhattan, which is pretty unusual, to have. But she was so uncomfortable with cooking and entertaining. She would just pressure herself that nobody's going to have any fun. I'm going to burn the food. People really don't want to come. The conversation isn't going to flow. All these negative bitch in your heads kind of thing that make you so uncomfortable that you don't even want to have people. And she'd be in the kitchen banging around and sipping wine and really having a miserable time while her guests heard all this. So she solved the problem by just having people over for a drink and then going out to dinner or ordering in. Why put yourself through torture if you don't enjoy it? She loved people and she enjoyed seeing them, but she just didn't enjoy the process of cooking and.
So a lot of it has to do. It sounds like with that things that you think other people are expecting of you.
Yes. Exactly. The bitch in your head specializes in perfectionism and specializes in making you think that people are judging you harshly when,
Which is why a woman will clean up the house like it's, immaculate, and a guy won't say, come on over.
Exactly.
I got you. Yeah.
And it seems that everyone has a flaw, and other people, like if you're married or have a partner, you have to understand what that flaw is and not denigrate that person for having the flaw.
Yes, isn't that what love is, Robin? When we love each other despite our problems and despite the flaws, and anybody who picks on your flaw doesn't really know how to love. And they are encouraging.
Oh, man. And I'm guessing we pick on our flaws more than anybody else does.
Yes, you're right. So we need to learn how to love ourselves also and how to be self-accepting. How to acknowledging the problems we have or the flaws we have, and to spend our time trying to repair them or fix them, or rather than just wallowing in them.
I have a copy of the book. It's called The Bitch in Your Head. Call me if you want the copy that was sent to us. And
it's a good book.
You are welcome to it. The rest of us will have to go buy it. And Dr. Jacqueline Hornor Plumez will tell you how to get that. Do you have a website, first of all?
I do, thebitchinyourhead.com.
Oh, that's easy. Okay.
The book is available at all Barnes & Nobles across the country and through Amazon.com.
Okay, but the website is thebitchinyourhead.com, right?
Thebitchinyourhead.com, yes.
How's it going? When did it come out?
It came out in May, and Barnes & Noble just reordered nationwide, so I'm happy to report it's available everywhere.
That's always a good thing. Let me give this one away. Good morning. You've got the book. Who's this?
Linda?
Linda, you know where we are, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Thank you.
It'll be waiting.
I really need that book today.
Oh,
wow.
My head is awful.
Thank you, Linda. She really needs it today. I wonder if the holiday season is getting on everybody. You think?
Probably.
Boy, yes.
Maybe.
Absolutely.
Well, Dr.
have
Plumez,
wars in the holidays.
if you celebrate anything this holiday season, have a good one, whatever it is.
Thanks, Larry and Robin. I enjoyed talking to you.
Thank you. That was good information. I'm glad that was a great call, right?
Yes, it was
Especially
a great
needs
call.
it today. All right,
Yeah.
we'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Fox News Radio, I'm Pat O'Neill. We will overcome the threat of terrorism. The message from President Obama, who says there's no evidence the husband and wife who killed